All right, all right, all right. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
I'm blessed. How you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm being appreciative, definitely being appreciative of you right now. So, we're here with Sarah. She is the owner of Nourish. She also owns multiple businesses. Can you tell us who you are and what exactly that you do?
Yeah, for sure. As you mentioned, my name is Sarah Scandone, and I own Nourish. It's a plant-based restaurant here in Philadelphia. This is my fourth restaurant, so I am a serial entrepreneur in the restaurant industry for sure. It's a all plant-based, alkaline, natural food restaurant and juice bar here in Philly. As you mentioned, I do own other businesses as well in alignment with that. I own an eco-friendly cleaning service and an herbal products line called The Remedy.
Oh, okay. Would have known. Would have known. Okay. Um, so can you share your journey towards obviously because you own a plant-based restaurant, you probably most likely live a plant-based lifestyle. So can you share your journey toward adopting a plant-based lifestyle and how it aligns with your Rastafarian beliefs?
Yeah, absolutely. I was definitely raised very healthy, although I did eat meat growing up and other, types of food that I would now consider a little bit more unhealthy or just not in alignment with my principles now. But I was always eating healthy, fresh foods. We always had a garden as I was growing up, and I had a really healthy relationship with food as a child as well. So I think that's a really big, important part of it. And then as I got older, I just became more informed about food and nutrition and how food fuels you and feeds your body and feeds your cells. And as many people, right before they became vegan, they say, "Oh, I could never go vegan." And I do remember a couple weeks before I became vegan, some of my roommate and a few of my friends were plant-based and vegan. And I was like, "Oh, I could never do that. I like this and that too much." And it's been 25 years now, so I almost forget the transition. But I just, decided one day that I'm going to try out some vegan food and plant-based life because I worked in a health food store and it just aligned with who I was more so as an individual. So I stuck with that. I was a vegan initially. Right off the bat, I chose to just be completely vegan. Throughout my journey, I did eat fish because I did live on islands and that did bring me to, as you mentioned, the Rastafarian culture that I am a part of, that we don't eat any dead animals or dead flesh or put anything dead in our bodies. So it was definitely right in alignment. So that helped me be consistent with that and carry that on for the last 25 years.
That's powerful. So how do you see the relationship between plant-based eating and mental health? Like how do you relate the two?
I mean, what we put in our body feeds all of our cells. It helps balance our emotions, it helps balance our endocrine, our adrenals, our response to life. So when we're putting in healthy food that is fueling us with really healthy vitamins and minerals and all the food intake that we need, it helps us balance out the organ systems of the body, helps us be in more control. And plant-based, I see a lot of people have an imbalance with mental health with their response to life. And I think a lot of that is the food that we're eating has changed so much that there's so many hormones and chemicals that are in food now that it disrupts your body so much. Like maybe back in the day, our parents might have eaten or our grandparents might have eaten meat, but meat was very different then. Now, because of the overconsumption in America and around the world, people are putting a lot more chemicals or a lot more hormones and just variety of different things into the animals, and so it's making them grow a lot faster, which then in turn, we're getting those synthetic hormones that are imbalancing and disrupting our natural hormone production, which helps us regulate our emotions, our response to life, everything. So when you're eating a healthier, more natural diet, your body is going to be in a healthier state and it's going to be functioning on the proper levels to be able to release the correct hormones, the correct chemicals in our brain and our body, so we have more control of ourselves as well too.
The fact that you pointed out the fact that that they're injecting the food or they're putting hormones into the animals.
Yeah, in the Caribbean they call it. They say they don't really eat the Chinese chickens, and I said, What's that?" And they say because they're mass producing food because they have to produce so much for the overconsumption of animal products now that they're growing them in like 6 weeks to be a full grown chicken when that's nowhere near the time span that it takes to grow them. So a lot of people say they notice the difference, especially eating meat, and I think that's where there's a shift too because it's not just about, for some people it's about health. For the animals, there's so variety of different things. But the reality is food has changed so much. A lot of people are recognizing that they feel differently when they eat these things that they've been eating their whole lives, but because of what they're putting in food now has changed so much.
Mm, like that. So, what daily rituals do you incorporate into your life to maintain your well-being?
Um, mental well-being, I was gonna say well-being, there's so many different things. Mental well-being, I think, um, rising up early in the morning, being able to take time to center yourself and focus. In our society, we're always so fast-paced and we have so much to do and we have so many responsibilities, and just the fast-paced society that we live in now, we forget to center ourselves. I spend a lot of time in nature. I'm really, really trying to find that balance, even more so in my own life, being a owner and an entrepreneur in general. I'm very busy, so I really make a point of it to make sure that I spend time in nature, spend time by the water. I travel a lot, so I think that's a big part of it for me as well too. But I think everybody should have a morning ritual as they rise up in doing intentional things like meditating, doing some breath work. Breath work is really important to me, and sound therapy I think is something that's also very, very important for your mental health. And these things you can do, like even sound therapy, you can listen to high frequency music even while you're sleeping. You can do these things, and without us even being aware or conscious of it, the frequency that it's emitting is coming in and changing the frequency of our cells. So by doing these things and these practices of the breath work or listening to high frequency sounds or doing sound baths, that type of thing, disciplining yourself with food, I think really helps with our mental health. It builds our own ability to show our control in our own lives. Doing intermittent fasting is really important. Fasting, just in general, giving yourself a regimen of saying, okay, I'm not going to eat after 8 and I'm not going to eat until 10 in the morning. Regulating what you eat really helps with your mental awareness and stamina and just your reward, because if you can restrict yourself and what you put in your body, it really helps you be able to resist and to be able to build that discipline within yourself across the board. And then naturally, when you're eating healthy foods, a lot of people talk about comfort foods when they're going through different things, and their comfort foods are sugary things, pies and cakes and unhealthy stuff. And they're not realizing they're just putting them further into a mental health crisis or a crisis in general. I found that at one point I went through something traumatic in life, and it was the one time I went completely alkaline. I'm primarily alkaline now and more so a raw foodist or fruitarian now. But that was one time I went completely alkaline, and I said, I know that because of what's going on in my life and this traumatic incident, I really need to be very disciplined and focused. And it gave me a purpose. It gave me a discipline to say, I'm going to focus my energy on this instead of this trauma that I'm going through. I'm going to focus my energy on the food, the alkaline food, and that in turn raised my frequency. That in turn raised my natural hormone balance to respond, my cortisol levels, my balance of the correct hormones and chemicals for my body to get back into a natural balance. And the food really made a difference. So now when I feel away or when I'm tired or I'm not feeling well, my comfort food is alkaline food. My comfort food is natural juices and raw food and fruits and life force, or life force foods that give me energy and vitality. And you feel that so much differently than if you were to go eat pizza and ice cream and fries, because that brings your frequency and your immune system and the vibration of your body so low. So I choose, and I notice a big difference in myself that when I eat these foods, you feel electric. You just feel alive and vibrant and just nourished.
Okay, okay. Is that where you got your restaurant name from?
It was many different things and going through many different things, but realizing that in our faith, we have a creed that said, "Let the naked be fed," or that "Let the naked be clothed and the hungry nourished." So I look at it that part of my purpose is to nourish people, and to give back to our community and our people. And through my gift and my passion of cooking and offering amazing food, I choose to nourish people, and I thought it was very suitable.
Okay. Okay. Well, now we know where yours name came from. Okay. All right. Um, so, how does your business promote mental health and well-being in the community?
I think again through the natural foods, through the real healthy foods that we provide, because in my restaurant, it's not just fast foods, it's not just a processed, soy patty that's going to imbalance your hormones even more. It's real plants and real food that are really going to help your body be, again, nourished and get the right nutrients, the right vitamins and minerals that you need. And when we have the right minerals or when we have the right vitamins and minerals in our body functions at an optimal level. And that means our mental health as well, too. It's funny, a client came into me one day, or a customer came into me one day and said, he wasn't sure why he was there. He was not plant-based, but his doctor prescribed him to come and just to be in the environment, just to be around like-minded people, just to expose yourself to a more conscious environment and find other people that are living this lifestyle so you can help to shift your mindset and shift your diet to a healthier diet, to just an environment that is more conscious, because it's not just the food that we're intaking, it's the conversation, the music, the frequency of what we're intaking that makes up our, you know, our food and our intake. So that was really, it humbled me for sure. It was really beautiful to hear that people are aware that your environment makes a big difference too, and the people that you're around make a big difference. And to be able to have that community space for people I'm really thankful that I know that I need it for myself. I create the environment for myself because in this society, being the individual that I am and being a Rasta woman and being, a little bit rebellious of the system and outside of, the mainstreams of society, I needed a space for my own self to feel welcome, to feel community, to feel connected with other like-minded individuals. And by providing this, I found that the community is really supported by that. Like, we do a Let's Talk Tuesday event where people come together and just have conversations about a variety of different things, and mental health is one of them, but even just communicating with other people and having other people to support you and connect with really, I think, helps us find a place and find connection and solace in this world of disarray and so much stress and fight or flight and survival mode that people are living in. I'm glad to be able to provide a space that people can step outside of that matrix a little bit.
Okay. So next, what challenges have you faced as a plant-based business owner?
I find that, and I see it's definitely a conversation now in the media. I'm noticing that a lot of people are saying plant-based businesses are not getting as much support as they were because it's a fad, things like this. Of course, there's the core people and the shift of more consciousness about what we're eating and what we're putting in our body, but there is ups and downs of it. And for a while, there was an influx of people that were, especially after, the pandemic, that people decided that their health was important to them. And so everybody wanted to run out and get healthy and take all these supplements and decide that they wanted to put healthier things in their body and realize that we have to take, our own health in our own hands because it's important. And that was a big surge of business for plant-based restaurants, for the health industry. And although the health industry is growing to be a multi-billion-dollar industry, it's still only plant-based people are maybe like 7% of the Americas. So I can only imagine the rest of the world. But it's not reaching enough people, getting the support that we need from the community. So we're a little bit slower, but I'm still really grateful. I have a great community of people that support Nourish and our vision, because not only just Nourish, but my other business as well and my herbal product line, people are very interested in, and people are realizing that we do have to take our own health into our own hands now and really, be mindful of what we're putting in our bodies. So, being slow and trying to get people to understand the importance of natural living and healthy plant-based diets is something that, across the board has been a struggle for many years. I've been in business, not just with this one, but over the past 25 years, I've owned my own restaurants and plant-based restaurants. And that many years it was definitely harder then, but now it's a little bit easier. But that's just really what we're struggling with. But otherwise, I get amazing support, amazing, community, and we just focus on the positive elements of what we're doing and how we're impacting our community.
How do you educate your customers about the benefits of a plant-based diet for both physical and mental health?
Yeah, I do a lot of videos. I do a lot of informational discussions, having spaces again where we come together and have seminars or discussions about these types of things. I share a lot of people, of course, on social media platforms. this is a great place for people to be able to get information. So I do a lot of stuff because although I've been vegan for 25 years, I know that a lot of people are just coming into this. So I'm trying to be mindful enough to go back to that time and remember the transition and the need to learn and educate ourselves with that. And I think that that's a way of doing it. I think by being my authentic self and walking who I am and how I represent and how I live and within my own discipline really helps people understand and see how amazing it feels, how great you can feel, how vibrant your life can be, and really just being myself and authentically showing up as how I, am really helps encourage people to utilize a healthy lifestyle to be able to find themselves in a balanced state and mentally, physically, all of these things.
What is your vision for the future of your business?
Of course, I have grandiose visions. Of course, I see Nourish being a household name. I want to open in every city. I want people to have access to healthy plant-based food, not just vegan food or not just, the greenwashing that's happening right now in the world, but really healthy plant-based food. And along with that community around it and people to support that and to really try amazing, delicious food. Again, we have alkaline food that people know that I'm alkaline so they can come and when they're healing on their healing journeys and when they're needing to be disciplined with their food and not knowing where to find that support, they know they can come there for that. They know they can come if somebody's on a raw food diet, they know they can come get a full spectrum of that.
Okay. So, are there specific foods or recipes that you feel are particularly nourishing for mental health?
I think definitely just fresh fruits and vegetables, not a lot of processed foods. I think it's really important to eat real food. I'm very strict with my diet, not even strict, I'm very just set and disciplined within my diet because I realize, again, how foods make me feel. I don't eat any soy, I don't eat bread, I don't eat grains, I don't eat wheat because these things lower my frequency. They lower how I feel and how I function. So I think fresh fruits and vegetables, a lot of fruit. I recommend people only eating fruit up until noon in the day. Just eat nothing but fruit. You can eat fruit for the whole day too, but up until that time in the day, you should just be intaking fresh fruits and teas and herbal teas and flushing out the body so you can restart your body. You can rejuvenate your body. Your cells are rejuvenated, your blood cells. I think it's like a 45-day cycle. So as we're putting new stuff in, we can remove that unhealthy stuff that brings our cellular frequency or cellular level to a lower frequency where we're not functioning as well, we're not feeling as good, we're not feeling as vibrant. So really just fresh fruits and vegetables, a lot of herbal teas. I work with a lot of herbs and I primarily, sometimes I don't even realize really need to eat a lot because I find that the herbs are nutritious enough because they're giving us all those vitamins and minerals that our body actually needs to function. It's not food stuff that we need. We don't need potatoes and french fries and big bread sandwiches. We need nutrients. And I really feel that, basic plants and fruits and herbs are really the food for man.
I'm here for that. Specifically, fruit part. Like, I've been on my fruit craze lately.
Yeah, fruit is really amazing. I do a fruitarian diet most of the time, and I just feel like I feel better. I'm more vibrant. I'm more hydrated. I hardly even drink water because H3O and fruit is so hydrating on my body. I notice my digestion, my clarity, my mental clarity. I do a lot of parasite cleansing while I'm doing the fruit cleansing as well, or fruit fasting. So normally that really helps too. But like the clarity that I have when I'm just eating light fruits and berries and stuff, I just feel so amazing. It's really, really great.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone looking to improve their mental health through dietary changes?
Focus, make small steps. Add things before you take away things. Find things that you love. Find things that you love the taste of. Things that work good for you to make it sustainable. Don't be so rigid to be like, I'm going vegan tomorrow or I'm going plant-based tomorrow. Slowly transition into that if that's what you need to do to make this a sustainable lifestyle practice. So you can shift there. So it's not just a fad for you or not just a quick fix that it's like, oh, I'm feeling bad. I'm going to eat this for like a week or 2 weeks. Slowly transition your lifestyle over into a much healthier lifestyle and think about your healthy lifestyle practices. Implement healthy lifestyle practices. Let it be going for a walk, sitting by a river, picking one food a week to try new. Just finding those avenues that work best for you. If you're an organized person, write down lists. If you're not, just pick up some, fruit when you go to the market next time instead of instead of getting unhealthy snacks and packaged food, primarily focus more on fresh foods and vegetables.
All right, so what specific challenges do you see facing the community regarding access to healthy plant-based food options?
Yeah, I see, even by starting with going into schools, I go into schools to educate young children about health and wellness, and I see the lack of information and education in our society to help encourage people to be more aware about their food and nutrition. That's one. And then obviously the standard American diet, the SAD diet, is set for with misinformation. It's educating us that we should be eating dairy and meat and all these things that are contrary to a healthy lifestyle or a healthy diet. And then access, of course, access depending on where we're at and what community where we're living. You know, there's food deserts all over the place, and especially in disenfranchised communities, that there's no access to healthy information, but even healthy food as well. And thankfully for urban farms and community spaces that are opening up like that, it's really impacting. And I see a huge change, especially in the African American community, for first of all, the desire to change, the need to, and the healthcare system is actually encouraging, which I'm loving to see. Unfortunately, it's once people get sick, so that's where we want to get that information prior to that time. But the fact that when people are sick now, their doctors are recommending a healthier lifestyle, that they need to change their diet. So that's where the main shift I'm seeing is, but I really feel access and information is a big issue for people.
So what advice would you give to a young entrepreneur in the plant-based food sector who wants to make a positive impact on their community?
Yes, be authentic on who you are. And one thing I see with a lot of plant-based restaurants, from a lot of people coming to me and discussing about the food that we have at Nourish, that you have to learn to cook. You have to learn to cook well, cook good food, cook real food, take some lessons if you have to, but learn how to cook well. Because a lot of people tell me that they go to a lot of these other restaurants and they can't transition. They're not going to eat that food. If that was, if that's their introduction to plant-based food, they're not going to continue down that path because it's not palatable for people, so that's a big thing. Be resilient and, steadfast in who you are and what your mission is, and really hold firm to your mission and why and your purpose of why you're doing this, because it's difficult and it's hard, and employment and entrepreneurship in itself is very difficult. It's hard work. It's People always look at you and say, "Oh, I wish I could work for myself." We work harder. We work longer hours. We deal with a variety of different things, but just persevere in that and just focus on your purpose, and then I'll get you through it.
So what's a message or quote that you would like to leave with the people?
As anybody that listens to me and knows who I am, let's get healthy, y'all. Very simple, very basic, but just focus on getting healthy. And that's a broad spectrum of things. It's healthy in our food, it's healthy in what we practice, our lifestyle practices, how we treat one another, what we intake, our music, our visuals, our environment. So let's work on that a little bit.
Okay. So where can the people find you at?
So we are at 177 West Girard Avenue here in Philadelphia, or you can go on Facebook or Instagram at Nourish Philly. Oh, I'm sorry, the website as well, www.letsgetnourished.com.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you. And, hopefully the people, no, not even hopefully, the people will be stopping past sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, thank you. Appreciate you having me as well. Great discussion.
Yes, ma'am.